Morning.
Wait, can I even do this? Hi everybody, I'm attorney Ian Corzine, and this is The Heart of the Matter. If you like videos on the legal side of social media, well then give me a like, give me a subscribe, and stick around till the end when I'm going to give you something that I think is going to be really useful for you. Today we're going to tackle the question about whether it's legal to sleep overnight in your car. Alright, after that I'll give you some solid tips on slumbering in your rig. Alright, let's get to it. So are you ready for a clearly decisive answer? All right, well, here it goes. It depends. I know that's a total lawyer answer, but it really does depend on the location where you're at. If you're in America, in general, most cities in the country ban sleeping in your car overnight. LA Municipal Code Section 85.02 specifically prohibits sleeping in your car overnight, but allows you to sleep on the sidewalk. More on that later. Miami and other large cities in America have similar laws banning sleeping in your car overnight. I guess the cities think that it will help with the homelessness problem, but I'm not really so sure. I mean, is stopping people from sleeping in their car overnight narrowly tailored to reducing homelessness in America? But this isn't a constitutional law course. This is better. This is YouTube. If you're in Canada, the rules are mostly the same. There's no federal law that says you can't sleep in your car overnight. However, most provinces and cities have rules that ban overnight parking in public places. So the answer to the question about whether or not it's legal to sleep in your car overnight is generally no. But sometimes you just gotta pull over to get some sleep. I know, I've been there. So what the heck do you do? Well, here's my 5 tips for urban camping. Tip number 1, get permission to park on private property. You know, there's no law that says you can't sleep overnight on someone's private property if you have permission. So if you're on a long road trip and you know someone along the way, give them a call and say, hey man, I'm coming in hot for your driveway. I need some sleep. And I've had some friends that do this. If you're in a rural area, why don't you knock on the door and say, hey, can I crash in your field? You've got to ask to receive. Tip number 2, park at large travel centers. The second tip is to go to a place where people are doing the same thing you're doing, and that's at truck stops or large gas stations or big hotel parking lots. A great way to find these places is with the free app Trucker Path. You can get it for the iPhone or the Samsung phone. It's a great real-time app that will give you locations. It'll tell you where your location is, but it'll also tell you where locations of truck stops are, hotels are, restaurants, anything you need that you might want to use if you got to sleep overnight. You might also consider finding a Walmart to do some overnight parking at. They're big, they're easy to find, they have big parking lots. You might buy something in the Walmart, then come out and do some easy overnight parking. There's kind of a wink and nod policy that Walmart has for all their overnight guests. They're not going to say anything if you don't make too big a deal. You're discreet and you're quiet and you're clean. And you know, it's private property, so there's no police officer that's going to come in and knock on your door and try to get you out of that space. Finally, you can often get away with parking at a local church or a hospital. These kind of institutions really want to help people, and oftentimes they think that's the least they can do to allow some temporary overnight parking. The best advice that I can give you if you have to overnight park is to stay safe, be discreet, and be respectful. If you're tracking me, write safe in the comments below. You have a few more options if private places to park aren't available. Tip number 3, find a good campground. You know, another thing you could do is go on recreation.gov or wikicamps.co if you're in Canada and find a cheap campground to park overnight at. Some of these campgrounds are really cheap, you know, $20, $30, $40. Sometimes you can even find free campgrounds. Tip number 4, just find a hotel. You may just have to bite the bullet and find a cheap hotel for the night. A place I go to is my6.com. It's Hotel 6's website. You can find cheap hotels in a lot of different areas for a good price and not have to worry about getting woken up in the middle of the night. Another place you can check is hostelworld.com. It's a great place to find hostels that are in your area. Really cheap, really clean, and you can just get some Z's and then head on out to your trip. Tip number 5, residential camping. Finally, it's your last resort. You don't have the time or money to plan ahead. It's residential camping time. All right, my tips are in this regard: find a safe neighborhood away from parks and schools. You want to be safe. Urban camping sometimes can be dangerous, so it's really good to find a safe neighborhood. And then second, don't jump into your car and go to sleep, pull up the blanket until after 10 p.m. Before this time period, neighbors tend to be more suspicious and they tend to knock on your window and say, hey, what are you doing here? And if they do that, my third tip is to be honest and explain to the neighbor, listen, I got tired, I had to pull over, it was an emergency, that kind of stuff, and be honest about it. And then finally, be courteous. If they say, hey, I don't want you here, move along, then move along. You have to obey their neighborhood. It's their neighborhood, and you're just stopping there temporarily. Not that you'd ever do this, but if you're trying to sleep off a party and want to park in a neighborhood for some quick Z's, just be careful. In most jurisdictions, you can still get a DUI even if the keys aren't in the ignition and you're in the back seat sleeping it off. So be careful. If you've had too much to drink, use Uber. All right, so are we good on the best ways to sleep in your car overnight? If so, write good in the comments. If you need more information or you have a question, write question in the comment section below. Now it's time for that special thing I wanted to give you. At the top of the description section, there is a link. That link takes you to my free urban camping tips and tricks. You can click on that link, download the file, and have some free tips on how to urban camp. For more in-depth discussion of the subject we talk about in our videos, I'd love for you to join the Heart of the Matter Facebook group. You'll find a link to that Facebook group in the description section below. Click on that link, go to Facebook, join. I'd love to see you there. If you want to watch more videos that break down the law into easy to understand chunks, well then please like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell button next to the subscription button, and you'll be notified every Wednesday when a new Heart of the Matter video comes out. We've been talking a lot about sleeping in your car, which leads me to believe you're into road trips. Well, if you want to take a road trip to Las Vegas, but you want to know the rules of Las Vegas, I made a video all about it. You can watch it by clicking the card right here. See you next time.